I just went to church today and I got a really disturbing feeling about people at this church in this very wealthy enclave. Beautiful houses right overlooking the ocean. And as I drove by just now, right now as I speak, it occurred to me that too many of these people have actually... These are their tombs that they will not come out of. These are the opposite of Jesus' tomb. Because they're not living lives of charity, generosity. Even the people in church, this particular church I was at, I felt no sense of the Spirit whatsoever. I felt people going through the motions of church and just wanting to get back to their beautiful houses, or their beautiful tombs, as I should say. And it gave me a sick feeling as I left. As I drove by these houses, I realized these are tombs of death. I mean, of eternal death. And why I wouldn't want one of these houses. You wouldn't be able to give me one of these houses. It's not a sin to be rich if you become rich from inheritance or from some sort of work. But the sin is when you rely on that wealth and that wealth becomes your God, and too often that is the case, when the wealth becomes more important than anything else. A house, all the attachments that come with wealth. And then inside the church, you see it too. Even this pastor at this particular church, I just felt like he had succumbed to materialism. He probably has a house. Maybe he lives in that church that's actually overlooking the ocean. That might be his house as well. And I just got a very sickening feeling of complacence at this church. I mean, this is a white church too, mostly white, wealthy people, and I'm white myself, but I felt like I had been betrayed by this older generation of whites who were very secure and content in their own lives and what they've accrued in terms of property, maybe some accomplishments and careers, but nothing they really had done personally that was all overwhelming that they can slap themselves on the back. But yet I didn't feel like they had truly were thankful for anything they had. Most people would just die to live up here in a peaceful community like this. Poor people everywhere could never afford a place up here, and that these people just take it for granted, and they're not handing it on to their younger generation. They're hoarding things for themselves. It's an older generation, the older white generation. It's sad because I'm speaking of my own, sort of my own people. If you think of the white people as being a people, which I don't actually. I come from the Dutch American community, so I think of my people as being Dutch American, who happen to have lighter skin than others. But if you're gonna clump us all in as whites, if we're supposed to take care of each other as whites, which isn't the case actually. I mean, you don't clump all Latinos as browns, do you? They all have their own heritages. Guatemalans, Nicaraguans, Mexicans, etc. Why do we get called whites, but everybody else has their own hyphenated ancestry or heritage? But more importantly, I just felt like inclined to preach this sermon about people are sealing their own tombs of eternal death. And they better wake up. Better wake up. The time is coming. I just feel it. Even the preachers and pastors, some of them are saying the words, but it's not in their heart. They've abandoned us as a younger generation. Mostly that's their greatest sin. Yeah, they want us. They don't really want. I was the youngest person there in the worship service today, and I'm 49 years old. That tells you one thing, huh? Young people are disillusioned by the church. And that's understandable, actually. I mean, I'm an evangelist and a pastor, preacher. I don't have a church, though. I don't do a normal church. I'm not a normal church pastor, but I should be trying to get people to go to church, but I understand their disillusionment when you see churches like I was at today. It's an older generation that has abandoned the younger generation.